वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनौ वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनौ देवकी परमानन्दौ देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं दैवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. I place my humble salutations upon the lotus feet of Saint Vedavyasa, due to whom today we are able to experience the Amrita of the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahabharata in essentiality, the Bhagavata and many other scriptures of the Puranas. I apologize for the second chapter coming out a bit late. As promised, I have introduced a few changes in the video. I have tried to introduce animations as much as possible. For the Sankhya Yoga, the animations are not very effective as it is more of an intellectual process. One must think and absorb the meaning rather than using visual aid. I have also added the English transliteration of the shlokas on the slide for the benefit of those who cannot read Hindi or Sanskrit. I have also trialed with coming on screen for the first time. I am not very sure of how it will roll out, so this is a trial of me presenting myself on the screen. Let us start by dwelling into the second chapter directly, which is called the Sankhya Yoga. The first chapter was called the Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Arjuna's grief, Arjuna's lament. In Arjuna Vishada Yoga, we understood how convinced Arjuna was that this war must not happen. He gave various reasons as to why the war should not happen. He tried to use the family factor, the emotional factor, and all the aspects. Now, we have observed that till now Sri Krishna Paramatman has not started talking yet. He is yet to utter his first words. Till now, Sanjaya has been lecturing Dhritarashtra about the events happening at Kurukshetra. Sanjaya continues with what is happening at Kurukshetra and continues to narrate, saying, Sanjaya uvacha tam tatha kripaya vishtam ashrupurnakulekshanam vishidantamidam vakyam uvacha madhusudanah tam tatha kripaya vishtam. Kripa, as we know, is compassion. Kripaya vishtam means overcome by compassion. It is a state where a person is unable to process any of his thoughts because emotion and compassion have taken over completely. Ashrupurna kulekshanam. Ashru in Sanskrit means tears. Ashrupurna kulekshanam. Eyes filled with tears. Tears are floating in the eye. It is very important to understand that children and adults go about this process of tears in very different ways. Children are very straightforward about their emotion. When they are sad, they cry. And they cry very openly, very freely. There is a free flow of tears. But adults, they exhibit more restraint in such an action. They do not cry openly in front of everyone. They try to hold back their tears. They try to portray themselves as strong because they think that tears are a sign of weakness. So Arjuna is experiencing a similar feeling here. Assuming that tears are a sign of weakness, he holds back tears, and he is also in a state which is vishidantam, completely saddened, a different type of sadness. He is not just sad about what is happening, he is also sad that he is a part of the event and its past. It is because of his action that this war has come to this level, and he feels guilty about it. Uvacha Madhusudana. To such a person, Shri Krishna starts talking to. Why is this description important? Because the Upanishads and the Vedas always say the state of the listener is very important for a good speaker. We would have experienced this in our life where we utter something, maybe an offensive joke to a person who is happy, our friend who is happy, and he does not react to it, he laughs it away. And sometimes when he is in a bad mood, you would have offered him a compliment and he takes it in the wrong sense. So the present emotion, situation of the person is very, very important in speaking. Thus, for a good speaker, understanding the listener becomes very important. Sri Krishna, being the ultimate speaker, completely understands the state of Arjuna. He is no more the confident, radiant Dhananjaya who conquered all the seven seas and rode over victory. No. He is now a depressed person who is sad and incompetent. What will Sri Krishna Paramatma say to such a person? Let us understand in the next shloka. Shri Bhagavan Kutastvakashmalamidam Vishame samupasthitam Anaryajushtamasvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna Kutahatva Kashmalamidam Vishame samupasthitam Anaryajushtam Asvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. O Arjuna, from where has this ignorance come to you? Kashmalam means ignorance or something which corrupts your mind. Even in Tamil, they use it for scolding people. So, kutastva kashmalamidam. Kutaha, from where did it come? Vishame samupasthitam. And why did it come at this precise moment? Isn't it ironic? A place where all Kshatriyas desire to exhibit their bravery, the feeling of compassion has come to you. That too, in the battleground. That is very sad. Anarya Jushtam Asvargyam. Anarya Jushtam Asvargyam. It is defaming Arjuna. This is like a student who is boasting about his preparation all below the exam. When he enters the exam hall, he says, "Oh, how big a crime we have done by writing this exam. I don't think I can do it." At that time, nobody will consider your point, however right it is. They will say, this person does not know anything. He can just talk. Arjuna, you have taken so many years for your penance, your weapons, and for your title of Dhananjaya. Nothing will matter anymore. Asvargyam. This is a very complex word. Why does Sri Krishna say this will not give you Swarga? For that we need to understand who will reach Swarga. Swarga is reached by someone who does their karma properly, associated karma properly. For that we need to understand and be clear about akarma, sukarma, kukarma, vikarma. Kukarma and vikarma are almost the same. Sukarma, good karma. What is good karma? Karma done with a good intention. Karma done in a duty bound sense. That is good karma. Sometimes our karma may not be with a good intention, but it is with a duty bound sense. For example, a mother cooks for the family. A father cooks for the family. Sometimes, some days, the mother might not have the thought process of let me make something which will make them happy and let me make something tasty. She just cooks because it's her duty and to fulfill the stomach of all the people of the family. At that time, one might question, is that sukarma because there is no good intention behind it? It is just doing plain duty. Is that okay? Completely fine. When you do your duty, it is completely fine. But when there is a wrong intention, it does not become your duty. Anyone in the world cannot think, no one in the world cannot think of a duty which is with the wrong intention. When you have been assigned a duty, it is with the right intention. So when you do your duty, of course, you have accepted to do that. And that is why you are continuing to do that. When you accepted, it was because of a good reason. And it continues to be of good reason. So why is this Aswargyam for Arjuna? Who is Arjuna? Arjuna is a Kshatriya, one who fights against adharma and protects his people from adharma, establishes dharma. For such a person to run away from his duty is indeed Aswargya, will not give Swarga. What is akarma is something different, considering every action to be done because of a supreme force acting on you and the whole world mechanism working and not because of your intention is akarma. That is a very complex machinery to enter, and we will in the later stage. But for now, let us understand why it is Aswargya. It is Aswargya because when you violate your duty, you are doing akarma naturally. Tomorrow our exam is there. We are going out for play. We have not prepared a single word. Of course it is akarma. Of course you have not done anything. But does that mean what you have done is right? Definitely not. We have violated our duty there. Just because you are not attached to the exam, so I won't study. That's not the right way, right attitude to life. The right path of thinking is not getting attached to the result of the exam, not getting attached to the exam itself. Again, reiterating, purpose of life is to not get attached to the results of life. The purpose of life is not to live in a nihilistic fashion, not to live in a mindset where you think anyway anything is going to happen, why do I have to work? No. So it is indeed Aswargya. Akirtikara. I will be visiting this phrase again, but as I said, Akirtikara means all your fame will be destroyed in a single sentence. Very famous people, including Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, have said, after your success, you need to try harder because there are thousands of lips waiting to say that your initial success was just fluke, luck. So, despite Arjuna's vast success, if you run away from this battle, you will be considered a failure, Arjuna. He continues to say, Klaibyamma smagam of Partha. Let us look at the shloka form completely and then let us split the verses. क्लैब्यमास्वगमः पार्थ नैतत्त्वय्युपपद्यते क्षुद्रं हृदयदौर्बल्यं त्यक्त्वोत्तिष्ठ परन्तप क्लैब्यमास्वगमः पार्थ नैतत्त्वय्युपपद्यते. Such an action where you run away from your duty will not bring fame to you, Arjuna. You might say, I am not doing it for the fame. I am not attached to fame. But isn't it violation of your duty? After all, after many years, will your conscience accept that the great Arjuna, the warrior Arjuna, ran away from the battlefield? Will people who write history not say, there was once a prince called Arjuna who wanted war all the time before the war actually happened? Won't they say that? This is Shri Krishna talking like a human, attacking the human emotions of Arjuna. One must not get confused regarding as to why emotions are being brought in here, because emotions are the prime aspect of human life. Without emotions, human life cannot exist. So, he first attacks the emotional corner of Arjuna. He says, Partha, naitatvayupapadyate. It will not help you. Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam. Chuck this cowardice. Why the faintness of heart at this moment? Tyaktu uttishta parantapa. Have faith in your own decision, Arjuna. You had the chance to prevent war all these times. For the sake of establishing dharma, we all agreed to disagree that war could not happen. We all agreed that only if war happens, we can put an end to the adharmic rule of Duryodhana. We all tried to open up the eyes of Dhritarashtra and Bhishma and Drona. They failed to open their eyes. We all decided war is the only way. And now you are sitting in a situation saying we don't want war. Have all those past events been blinded by one present event? Think, Arjuna, and wake up, he says. Wake up from this delusion that you are in. So, before I conclude, why is Arjuna being lectured by Krishna here? Doesn't Arjuna know what to do? Isn't he a warrior? But in life, mentors are very important. In cricket, in the Mumbai Indians dugout or take the India dugout, do you think in the 2011 World Cup, Gary Kristen was teaching Sachin Tendulkar how to play cover drive? Of course, Sachin knows how to play the cover drive. He has been playing the cover drive since he was 16. He knows how to play that. Why is a person like Gary Kristen, who has lesser experience in cricket than Sachin, mentoring Sachin? How is that possible? Let's take another example. The Mumbai Indians dugout has Ricky Ponting as the mentor. Don't the Mumbai Indians batsmen know how to bat? Without knowing how to hold the bat, how they come to the dugout? If they made it into the team itself, it means that they have played through various tournaments, showed how good they are, proved their worth. Then why the necessity of a mentor? Because your skill development has been done, but your mental space is not still ready. For humans are creatures who, when you give confidence, can achieve great things. And an example of that is the Kargil War, which I have displayed on the slide. The person, it would be an understatement to call him a person. The legend on the right is Captain Vikram Batra, who motivated the entire Kargil army when they were demotivated. There was a huge army standing against them, and there were 500 Indian soldiers on the other side, about 2,500 Pakistan soldiers on the Pakistan side. 500 versus 2,500, huge battle. They are the underdogs now. India were at a disadvantage, and at that precise moment, Captain Vikram Batra gave a legendary speech to motivate his men. He said, "We will either go back with the flag tricolor or wrapped in the tricolor." With such motivational statements, he inspired the Kargil army. And do you know what happened after that? 500 Indian soldiers, 2,500 Pakistan soldiers. After the battle, 235 Indian soldiers were remaining, while 2,500 Pakistan soldiers were martyred. That is the impact of what happens when you give people confidence. You don't have to teach them their skill. They have come to that position because they are already skilled. What you need to give them is confidence, mental space. Captain Vikram Batra is one sole example. There are millions of people who have given speeches. Perhaps the greatest speech given would be Shri Krishna's speech before motivating Arjuna in the great battle of Mahabharata. Let us all get inspired by the speech for our own battle. And our own battle, we are not people who are blessed and brave enough to go to the borders yet. But we are fighting our own war in life. So let us take inspiration for life. Let us try a bit harder. Let us work with 100% heart. Let us face life as it comes towards us, rather than blaming the year 2020 or blaming the situation for everything. Let us not put the blame on the year, the time. Let us take it into our hands. Let us try to make the most of the situation. Everybody is facing the trouble, not just us. What we make of it is what comes back to us later. Captain Vikram Batra that day decided to give a motivational speech, and the result was they all came home with the tricolor. Let us all try to succeed the same way in life by taking the emotional and mental inspiration given to us by the greatest spokesperson of all time, Shri Krishna. With that note, I conclude my session for today with prayers to the Lord's feet. Govindeti sada dhyanam, Govindeti sada japam, Govindeti sada dhyanam, Sada Govinda Kirtanam. Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaah. Go brahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam lokah samastas sukhino bhavantu. Kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini. Deshoyam kshobarahitah sajjanah santu nirbhayaah. Aputrah putrinas santu pautrinas. Adhanas sadhanas santu jivantu sharadam shatam. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.